Hi everyone, this is Happy Bird from happybirdsglitternest.blogspot.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make this sweet little bird's nest on top of a wooden spool. And this was a lot of fun to make, and I think you're really going to enjoy putting this together. And I will apologize in advance that this video is much longer than I anticipated. It didn't start out that way, it just kind of ended up that way. So with that said, we'll get started and I'll show you how to put this together. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need is a wooden spool. This is an older wooden spool that I got from my mom's sewing basket, and so I'm using this. And I did peel off the label, and I took a Dollar Tree sanding block and just kind of sanded it down a little bit to get the rest of the label off here. Now it does have kind of a stain at the top, but it's not standing up or anything like that. I think it's just soaked in from the glue that they used. Now if you don't have any wooden spools, you can find them on Amazon, and I believe they have them on eBay as well. The main thing is you want the base part to be wide enough in order to put a little nest on here. So mine is approximately 35 millimeters wide at the top, okay? So I would highly suggest that. The height doesn't matter. This is 44 millimeters high, but really that doesn't matter. It's mainly the base, okay? All right, and I'm going to use some of this cottage white chalk paint from Hobby Lobby. I'm using white because I really think that white makes everything pop. And so I'm going to be using these sponges from the Dollar Tree. They're the cheapy sponges, the ones that are actually foam but not real sponge. And I cut them up is what I do, and I just use them to paint with like that. I'm going to make this one a little smaller though. So I'm just going to cut this in half, and then I think I'll use that. Okay. So I'm going to put a little bit of paint here on my plate. Okay. And I'm just going to do this. Okay. And this should cover it really well. And I love the texture that these sponges make. I don't know if you can see it. I'm just going to go all the way around and paint this. I think one coat will do. I'll see after I put this all on, and then okay. Sorry about that. My dog is barking because she wants to come in to my room. Oh my gosh. Okay, you know, I'll be right back, because if I don't open the door, she'll just continue. Okay, sorry about that. All the animals like to gather near me in the house. Yeah, so I'm just going to take my time and do this. And then once I get the spool covered, we're going to let it completely dry. No, I think one coat will do it. I like this chalk paint from Hobby Lobby. It's the first time I used that brand, but it seems to cover really well. Okay. All right. And then, of course, after I let this dry, completely, then I'll do the top and the bottom. I just can't touch it right now. I just want to make sure I get all the little nooks and crannies here. Just like that. Okay. See? I don't know if you can see up close. Get all that. Don't want any wood showing through. Okay. It's looking good. All right. I think I'm going to stop about there. And I'm going to allow this to dry. And once it dries, like I said, I'll do the top and the bottom. And then allow that to dry. And we'll come back and work on our sweet little bird nest. Okay, so I did touch this up with a very light second coat. And I allowed it to dry overnight just so it would be good and dry. And I think it turned out very nice. So we're going to decorate it now. Now I will tell you, I mean, there's 1,000,001 different ways you can decorate this. You can add lace to it, and you can add rhinestones, pearls, tiny little roses or flowers. You can add something simple if you want, like this pink lace bow trim. You could put that in the front. That would be cute too, wouldn't it? So, you know, don't stress too much about how to decorate it, and don't think that you have to have everything that I'm showing you today, because you can go in your own stash and just be creative and, you know, pull out what you have as far as trims and laces, things like that, and just kind of play around with it. So I'm going to start by using some Dollar Tree, oh my gosh, I have Dollar Tree on my brain. Some Hobby Lobby trim that I bought half price. Now normally I would never pay $10 for a roll of trim. This is 1 yard, but this was half price. And if you check the ads each week, they generally have a couple of times a month all of their trims and ribbons and things like that in the sewing section for half off. And also look in the wedding section, because a lot of times they have their things for half off too, and you can pick up some really pretty things in there. And I mean, for dirt cheap. I got this for $1.50. It's normally $2.99, 24 feet, but it was $1.50. That was half price. And same with this pink trim. They do have rhinestone trim there, but I buy my rhinestone trim on Amazon because although their trim is beautiful, their rhinestone trim, I still think I can get a little better deal on Amazon with a rhinestone trim. Okay, so I cut a piece of this trim to fit perfectly around here, like that. And I'm going to use some Fabri-Tac, some Beacon Fabri-Tac, to glue that on right in the middle. I want a little bit of room here and a little bit of room down there to add a few more little decorations or little touches to this. So this back here is the hot melt, and normally you would iron this on to clothing or whatnot, but I think it will stick just fine with this Fabri-Tac, so that's what I'm going to use. I suppose you could use your heat gun too if you wanted to, but I'm just going to take the easy way out today. Okay. Hold it like that, and I'm going to come in like this. Yeah, I'm going to press this down here, like so. Okay. So I'm just going to wait a little bit so this will grab on and stick well enough to where I can continue decorating this the way I want. You have a couple of minutes to kind of put everything in place the way you want it. Okay. All right. So I think that looks pretty good. I'm just going to allow this to dry so I can handle it and continue decorating. Okay, so I'm going to add some of this beautiful 2.5mm AB rhinestone chain. And I purchased this at Amazon, and as you can see, I've already used quite a bit. So I'm going to start by adding a little fabric tack and just going to run it right around there, just like that. And I'll start at the seam right here at the back. Okay, and then making sure that it's pressed down, and I'm working with just a few at a time. And then pressing as I go. Okay, and I think right about here is good. Oh, yeah, okay. That turned out pretty nice. Tap it down. Just like that. Okay. Now I do have some pearls here too. I was thinking about using this at the top, but I don't know, I really like those rhinestones, so I'm not sure. I think I should add some more rhinestones at the top. What do you think? Okay, we have my bottle here. And once again, I'm going to start here at the back seam. And I'm going to go all the way around. Start here right at the seam. Go all the way around. Okay. So see, that's very simple. Basically, the only thing we did here was add some of that trim and then a little bit of the rhinestone chain. So easy, easy. I think it turned out really pretty. I might add something in here. I'm not sure what I want there yet. Whatever I put here, it's going to be flat. I don't want it sticking out because I think that would make it look odd, or I may just leave it. I'm not sure yet. But before I decide whether I want to put anything here or not, I might just do the nest first and then just see how everything looks. So I'm just going to allow that to dry and then we'll be back. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need is some split ring key tags, and I purchased this box of 50 tags on Amazon. They were very inexpensive. You can find them in the stores as well. And this is 1 1/4 inches in diameter. Okay, so I'm going to take one of these tags out. And first thing I'm going to do is take this little wire thing off. And then I'm just going to take my little detail scissors and cut out as much of the white as possible. It doesn't have to be perfect, just cut out as much as you can. I think this is good enough right here. And like I said, it's not going to be perfect. Just press in the rest like that against the silver part at the key tag. And that should be good enough. Now we're going to save this part here. Just going to cut a little circle here. Doesn't have to even be perfect, because we're just going to glue this on top of the hole here, like that. Okay, and there's a reason for that, and I'll show you that later. So I'm going to take some of my Beacon Fabri-Tac glue and do that around the edges. And we're just going to set that aside to dry. Okay. All right. So now, this is going to be our frame for our little nest, okay? And you can use a lot of different ribbons, or, I shouldn't say ribbons, I meant cords and threads. So I just pulled out a few here. And this is just some leftover cord. You can use embroidery floss. You can use cotton twine. They have that at the Dollar Tree. I would just look for tans and brown colors to make your nest. I'm using gold here, okay? And it's funny because I had this in my craft stash, but I always avoided using it because when you would cut it, it would immediately fray. It would just come unraveled. So I didn't use it, but for this project, it's perfect, okay? And to start with, you're going to cut about 18 inches in length, the different cords that you want to use, okay? And I might grab some embroidery floss to put into this as well. I'm going to also be weaving in some 3mm pearl trim, and I bought this from Amazon, and it's more of an ivory color than a white color, which is absolutely fine. So let me get that embroidery floss too that I was just talking about. Okay, I found some in kind of a gingerbread type color, and I had a dark brown in there as well, but it looked a little too dark for this project. So, okay, the first thing I'm going to do is cut 18 inches off right here, roughly 18 inches. Where my scissors go. And then there's some leftover cord. I wish I would have picked up the cotton twine, the roll of it, in the crafter square section, because I think it would have been really nice to use. They had them in tans and brown colors. Now with this gold cord, I'm going to cut two 18-inch pieces of this because I really want quite a bit of that gold to show through. Okay. So, yeah, I like this gold. It'll give it some sparkle. Now, some people, if you wanted to make a little more rusticness, of course you would use something like this Dollar Tree twine, but I want this to be a little more shabby chic glam, I guess you would call it. Okay, so now I'm going to cut my pearls to 18 inches, and these are 3mm pearls. I've used the 4mm pearls, but to be quite honest with you, I think the 3mm worked out better. The 4mm pearls were just a little too large, and I'll show you an example of that at the very end of this video. Okay? Okay, so we have our little key ring, and what you're going to need to do is cut about a 1/2 inch wide strip of cotton fabric. To be quite honest with you, I would have used muslin, but I didn't have any. I ran out. So I had to go with a white cotton fabric that I had. So, but it would be better to use the muslin. Okay, so I'm just going to start this by putting on a little bit of glue right there, okay? And I'm just going to lay this piece of fabric on here. And like I said, it's about a 1/2 inch wide. And I'm just going to let it sit there for just a few seconds until it grabs. You can blow on it to help it along. Okay. And the strip that I cut is about 18 inches, roughly. Okay, so I'm just looping this through. Like so. Okay? And we're going to go all the way around this ring. And I'm pulling it fairly snug. Not tight, but snug. And you see how I'm overlapping this? Like that. We're going to go all the way around. And this is just going to give our base a little bit of bulk. Now don't use felt or anything like that, because believe me, I tried that and it didn't work out very well at all, because the felt was just way too thick by the time we took our thread and wrapped it with that. Okay, or I should say our cords. So stick with cotton fabric, plain cotton fabric like this, or muslin. And I'm overlapping, and it won't be perfect, but that doesn't matter because this is just going to be the base. And I have a couple of other nests, and I'll show you those examples at the very end of this video. And I'll give you a link to one of them that I made a while back that you can absolutely use on this project. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to end right here. So I'm just going to take a little bit of hot glue and put it here at the back. And then just hold it for a second. And then as it dries, then I'll come back in with the scissors and just cut this piece off, okay? You blow on it. Okay. Probably should have let it dry out just a few seconds more of it. That's okay. There we go. Okay. All right, now, don't worry about the little strings. Those are going to be covered. If they really bother you, you can trim them off, but it doesn't matter. Okay, just for a moment, we're setting aside our pearls. And I took my 4 cords and I laid them right across here. I just put a little tiny bit of hot glue, just a strip of it. And so I laid the end cords right there, and make sure that it dries really well before you start, okay? And you're going to hold your cords and just gently wrap them around like that. And just take your time doing this. There's no big hurry or rush. So here we go. Coming right around the bend here. One last wrap. Now I'm going to be gluing this right here underneath, and when I'm finished doing that, I'll show you something. Here, just put a little tiny bit of glue. We don't want a ton of glue because we don't want it like ultra bulky. And that's the underside. So we're gonna just hold this down for a moment or so, and when it dries, we'll just clip it off. Okay, so I took my pearl trim and I put a tiny bit of hot glue right here, and I placed 2 of the pearls right on that, okay? And I let this dry for a good 5 minutes because I want to make sure that it's nice and tight on here. And I'm just going to be wrapping this around here. I'm going to leave a little bit of space in between, just like that, okay? And you can hold on to the top while you're wrapping the next section. Leave about a 1/4 of an inch space in between, and it really helps if you hold on to the pearls at the top and then wrap, and then hold on to these pearls at the top and then wrap. I'm using my left hand to do the actual wrapping. Okay. And then you can make sure the spaces are fairly even in between. Okay. Like that. And then you're going to hold this at the top and just keep on wrapping. I think we have one more wrap to go. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to be holding onto this and put a little bit of glue right here, just a line of it. And I'm going to hold this for a good 3 or 4 minutes until I feel like it's really on there, because you don't want it to loosen and just unravel the whole thing. And then of course you can just snip it off right here with a pair of scissors. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I have these little gold leaf vines here. I purchased this at the 99-cent store, and it's in the party section where all the party wrapping paper and ribbons are. You can also purchase this at Hobby Lobby by the roll. They have it in the sewing section, in among all the trims. Okay, I don't know if they have these at Michael's. I have not been to Michael's in close to about a year now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just cutting off the individual little leaves, and I'm just kind of cutting it, the vines, into like a leaf shape, make it look a little nice. Okay, and I'm gonna set these over here. Not sure, I'm gonna cut 5 of them. I'm not sure if I'll use all 5 or not, but I'll be prepared. Okay. All right. Okay, so hold on. Okay, so this is dry, that little paper that we put here, and I did that so I could glue the little nest on here and add some eggs without the eggs falling through the hole. Okay, so you want to take the ugly side that we started at, and we're going to place it right on top. Make sure that that little seam is in the back as well. Okay, and so we'll go ahead and do something like that. Okay. All right. And I'm just going to put some hot glue all the way around. And I'm being fairly generous about it. Yeah. Make sure it's exactly where you want it, because that hot glue grabs pretty quickly. All right. And I have these little oval pearls. They're little rice, well, they're pearl shaped. I think they call them rice pearls. But these are glass, but you can buy them at Hobby Lobby in with the acrylic beads. There's a section where they have acrylic pearls, and not the kids section, but more of the adult section where the acrylic pearls are. And so you can look for those there. And so I'm using the larger ones. So I'm going to start with 3. 1, 2, 3. I think that should do it. I'm pretty sure. And it'll hold up our little bird. I don't know. Let's see. Maybe I should put 5. I think 3 makes a nice number, but let's see if 5 would be better. I don't know. 4, 5. Yeah, I think 5 would be better, because it kind of fills it a little more. Whatever you do when you fill it up, just fill it up in odd numbers. Either 3 or 5, you know. That seems to be more pleasing to the eye. Okay. So I'm just going to place some of this Fabri-Tac in here, like so. add our little pearls. Like that. And then I have a little ceramic bird. You can use the little mushroom birds as long as they're real tiny. And set them on top. Okay. And this is just a little bird that was originally on some kind of knick-knack, and it broke off, and the other part of the knick-knack broke completely, so I've been saving it. And I think, yeah, put this right here with some hot glue. And I'll kind of turn it a little bit at an angle, a little bit facing me and a little bit facing the left direction. Okay. Now I also have a little flower, and I think, let me get that flower. Where did I set those? Oh, in here. I have these cute little tiny roses, and I purchased these roses from Tuesday Morning, but if you want to get some really pretty roses, wait until Paper Studio roses are half off at Hobby Lobby, and you can really stock up on them then. Alright, so my plan is I want to put a little rose right here, maybe with a couple of little golden leaves underneath that. So I'm thinking I should be gluing the leaves on first. Maybe one here, and then one here. So maybe a third one. What do you think? 3 leaves? I think that'll look nice. And then the little pink one, and we're going to do something here to the little pink rose as well. Yeah. What do you think? I don't know. Yeah. And I'm going to kind of tilt it, the rose, a little bit towards the front. Not a whole lot. Just a tiny bit. Okay. Don't think I'll use those other 2 leaves I cut. And then I'm going to show you right here. I have some Deco Art Galaxy glitter, and it's in Clear Ice Comet. You can see at the bottom that it's kind of medium-sized glitter, not big chunky, but just medium-sized glitter, maybe with some fine glitter. Kind of reminds me of the Deco Art Twinkles that they sold several years ago. And I think what they did is I think they made something similar, only with a little more glitter in it, and changed the name to Galaxy Glitter. That's what I think. So, because all of a sudden, you know, those twinkles, I couldn't find them. Now, you can use the Opal Glitter Medium if you would prefer that over this, okay? And I've told you about this. It's called Master's Touch Fine Art Studio. Regularly $8.99, but they always have the Master's Touch Fine Art Studios things on sale. Usually 40–50% off once or twice a month, and it's in all of the paints are for artists, you know, and the artist paint brushes and whatnot. It's awesome stuff. I love it. But I think I'm going to use this today. I'm going to shake it up. And open it. I'm going to put a tiny amount on my finger. And I'm just going to do this. Wipe it around here and there. It's creaking. Yeah. Kind of scraping it, my finger on there. You know, I think I'm going to do a mixture of this and this. You don't have to, but I thought it might look really nice having a little mixture here. Oh yeah. Okay. See? It gives it just enough sparkle. And got it on the bird's head. Don't want it on his head. Alright, I'm wondering if maybe I can take this opal glitter medium and kind of, I don't know, should I leave it alone? It's kind of hard to decide sometimes. Alright, hold on for just a second, please. Okay, so I tried this and I think I like it. So I'm just going to put a little bit with my finger like this. Just enough to where it gives it kind of a glitz. You see that? Isn't that pretty? I don't know if you can see that or not. I like it. It's hard to decide sometimes when you have a craft project and you sit there and think, now if I do this, is it going to mess everything up and then I'll have to start all over again? I'll be so angry at myself if that happens, and so you don't know whether to actually do it or not. I've done it a few times, you know, with success, and a few times I've really messed it up bad and ended up having to throw it away, so. And sometimes the only way to tell is just to do it. Okay, I really like that extra glimmer that it gave that nest. Very nice. Okay, so I'm going to allow this to dry. This opal glitter medium is a gel, and so it's different, and it takes a full day to dry. I love the results. It doesn't dry quickly, but I love the results. Okay, so I have some little pink rhinestones here, and I purchased these little rhinestones, and I've had them in there from the Target dollar spot probably 3 years ago now. And I'm just going to put these in the little circle areas. They don't have glue in them or anything. They're just flat back rhinestones, and they were selling these in little bottles, and I don't know why I picked them up. I think it was close to Valentine's Day. I don't even go into the Target dollar spot anymore. I think that they've just become so ridiculously high as far as price goes that I would rather wait and get something just as cute with a coupon, or when it's on sale at Hobby Lobby or someplace like that. And I know a lot of people love the Target dollar spot, but kind of did it for me when they started raising prices. And kind of like Michael's. At one time, Michael's had an awesome dollar spot, and then it just kind of fizzled out when they raised some prices. Okay. Now you can see in the very back there's like a little tiny piece here that I had to cut. I'm not going to bother with that. Okay, that's on the back. So there we go, just like that. And then I'll be back. Hold on. Okay, so upon looking at this, I think I can put a piece of 2.5 millimeter rhinestone chain to go right along the base. And of course I'm going to start at the seam line right here. So I'm going to be using some Fabri-Tac, and I'm just going to put a little bit like this just around, right along the base here. All the way around. And I think it'll look really pretty. Okay. I'm going to set it down here. Start right here in the seam line. And I'm just going to turn my little spool. And then it'll meet up here at the seam. And it's perfect. This went on really nicely, so I'm not going to disturb it. I'm just going to allow it to dry, and then we'll be back. Okay, so this around the bottom here, the base, it's dried, and I cut another piece of 2.5 millimeter rhinestone because this very easily can slip in between these two rows of rhinestones here. So I'm going to be using some of the Fabri-Tac again, and I'm just going to put this right around in the middle here. Ow! Get down! Get down! Sorry. One of the kitties decided he wanted up and jumped on me. Okay, so I'm going to start here at the seam like I always do, and put this right here and just very gently turn the spool until you get to the back again. There we go. Isn't that pretty? It's looking really nice. Alright, so I'm going to let that dry as well. I think it would be tough to do this area here. It's not, I don't know, we'll see. We might just leave it just like it is, but I want this to dry first, and then we'll be back. Okay, so everything is dry. And I think it turned out really cute. I decided not to put a chain around here because although you can't see it, parts of this here are sloped and parts are not, so it wouldn't have looked very good. So thank you so much for sticking with me. I know this was a much longer video than I anticipated it to be, and I do appreciate all of you. And I hope you give this a try, your own little bird nest. And, you know, use your imagination and decorate it, and I think you're going to really enjoy this project. So take care, and God bless you all. Bye-bye.